Folks have questions?
I'll take a crack at that. I don't believe that we're characterizing half the country. I am characterizing their candidate, Donald Trump, as a misogynist and a racist. There's a difference. I think he's hijacked the Republican Party. And I have Republicans who are friends. I'm a Democrat. I've been a loyal Democrat for years, but I've worked with Republicans, but not Republicans like Donald Trump. I think I know plenty of Republicans who are for Kamala Harris because their party has been hijacked. So I don't think anybody up here is characterizing every Republican in the nation. There are Republican union members. Nobody up here is characterizing those individuals as misogynist and racist. But this is a race primarily between two candidates, and that individual, unquestionably, I'm speaking for myself, I'm characterizing him as a misogynist and racist based on the words that came directly out of his mouth.
I mean, unions want to build, and if the Red Stars could get in the mix for the stadiums, we're all for building it. More building, more jobs. We're all for it. Especially something like that, we could even bring, we could do a pre-hire agreement to make sure more women would be working on our projects, such like that, so we can start training young women for a career in the building trades. Great stuff. Bob, Bob, Chicago Red Stars. I don't like to answer Chicago questions without a little something here from Bob.
I think it's an incredible question. We talk about a stadium. We should also talk about the Red Stars' first collective bargaining agreement that they reached, where they ran a campaign, no more side hustles, so they could actually play in the sport here as professional athletes and not have to worry about holding down second or third jobs or going to play in another country. I think in terms of the stadium, they're a great team. You heard Tim talk about their performance at the Olympics. I think it's fair and right that the Red Stars have the opportunity to have a venue where they don't keep getting bumped out of because they're considered not the primary tenant when it comes to games or practices and things like that. So I think elevating women's sports like we have, whether it be in Major League Soccer or the WNBA, they're all, for us, they're our members. The players are members of both those leagues. And I think the Red Stars should have the same opportunity that the Chicago Sky has at the Wintrust Arena.
So you're in a unique position because you actually represent a professional sports, like the Red Stars.
Yeah.
And there was a bill in Springfield that basically said if they're going to build new stadiums, because there was all this buzz about the White Sox and the Bears, we should consider new venues for women's sports as well. Have you been involved in any kind of talks, are you privy to any kind of talks with, the governor or the Ricketts family or any powers that be on any unit of government, about, possibly for the Red Stars if, they actually go through with this play for the Bears or the White Sox?
Yeah, no, we have with the governor down, the Illinois AFL-CIO. Again, we want to build, so we've let the leaders and the governor know that we'd love to see a stadium for the Red Stars built. And again, we're really wanting to create opportunities for young women and especially young women, people of color, to get into the building trades and start a career much like, men have done for generations now. It's their turn.
Do you think this power grab of different sports teams trying to vie for state government's attention issue is kind of ruining the Red Stars' chances? Because you've heard the governor say there's no appetite for a Bears stadium or any professional stadium.
Whatever comes out, any stadiums, it's going to take some state work somewhere, even if it's infrastructure around the stadium or whatever. So we're going to be working on that because really it's good for the community, right? I mean, it's a venue for people to go and relax after a hard day, after a hard week of work, take the family to any sports venue. Great stuff. So, there's going to be something to do with capital projects. It has to be, I think.
So with whether it's the Bears, the White Sox, or the Red Stars, or any other team that needs a facility, any deal that people are talking about with any structure at this moment, it's a moment in time. I think that conversations around how these different stadiums could move forward are all unique and can all operate together. And it's a matter of getting all the different interests. It's just like any type of any type of project that needs to be made. There's a lot of moving levers. We've heard both the Bears and the White Sox talking about the private investment that they want to put into their stadiums, which I believe is significant. And there's, as Tim talked about, with making sure that there's for the Red Stars that that we're able to provide opportunities for women to work on the projects. We have our building trades unions, our partners at Hire 360. We do a lot of work to bring people of color and women and gender diverse people to have the ability to become apprentices, help journey people who are connecting the work. These are great. These are jobs programs too for the people who will work in the stadiums, the people who play on the field, work in the stands, the people who build them. So I think we have to get to the place where we can line all these things up where they make sense. And whether we're able to build one now, pick a stadium. Say we're able to move forward with Soldier Field, or we're able to move forward with the White Sox, or we can do all of them together in a deal that brings growth and opportunity to the city. I think that we just need to look for where those opportunities line up. All these projects, unlocking the museum campus with a new Bears stadium that could have could have other entertainment opportunities, restaurants, and make it a more well-rounded destination. Helping to anchor a new neighborhood on the river. These are wins. These are wins for everybody. They're wins for everybody.
It seems that you guys are saying that Governor Pritzker should change his mind, that he should reconsider these proposals. This doesn't get done at a state level. The money doesn't go through ISFA unless Governor Pritzker.
We don't have to change his. I don't know that it's a matter of changing his mind. It's continuing to work on the legislation to make the case.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, when we see something that we like, we work for it, and it's going to put people to work and do those kind of things. That's what that's what we're supposed to do. He hasn't said no. He hasn't necessarily, the subsidies and stuff. So there's a lot going on out there, but we want everything to be in the mix. Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Yeah. Justin, you know nothing's immutable. Nothing's immutable.
Labor obviously is integral to the economy. What are you hearing from your members when it comes to the cost of things, energy, food? Are they sharing with leadership these types of concerns?
So here, look, we have a number of collective bargaining agreements that have come up for expiration in the last couple of years coming out of the pandemic. And what we do at the bargaining table is we fight for wages that meet the rising costs, the inflationary costs of goods and services, right? So it doesn't exist in a vacuum where we're not also fighting to make sure that our people are getting fair wages. Nationally, you saw it with the auto workers contract bargaining. They got record wages for regular people working in auto plants that was meeting the moment economically. We've got Eric Dean here from the general president of the Iron Workers. I don't know if John Daniel's still here. Our members are always working hard, and we're working hard with them. Our elected officials are helping to do things to make sure that we're protecting their wages, and sometimes that means making sure that the employers who are part of the inflationary process are also meeting the moment and paying our members what they're worth.
Okay, we have time for one more question. So I got to follow up.
Sure, please.
So
If you can get to the microphone.
you asked about what our members are feeling. Our members, we poll our members, we do focus groups. Jobs and economic opportunity were the number one issues for my members, and that was their response. And the opportunity is working under a collective bargaining agreement and being able to afford different things. You know, because I have a lofty perch in Washington, D.C., I don't believe the president is solely attributable to the rising costs of the war in Ukraine, raised the prices of energy across the world, and the world shutting down for 2 years changed the economic impact of backlog of supplies and different issues of that nature. So we're all affected by that. They're conscious of that. But without a job and a good paying job in a union, that's where my members see the best opportunity. So the last two administrations, we've lobbied for economic security, pension reform, health and welfare, and labor standards. One administration is more responsible for creating those opportunities for our members, and that's why we're fighting for what we're doing.
You mentioned you poll your members. Do you also poll them on where they're at in this race?
We are, and the majority of them self-ID as Democrats. They were for President Biden, and or they looked for another candidate within the Democratic Party. So our leadership followed our membership's mandate. When we endorsed Joe Biden, there was 13 people in the race, and Joe Biden was on the top of the list, and that's why they don't endorse because me, the general president, tells them to do so. I respect my members and what's on their mind, and their polling helps guide us and our leadership team.